As we often say at TriJake Fitness, you are an athlete when you say you're an athlete, and so we are going to teach you how to train like an athlete. Fitness at TriJake is much more than just throwing around some weights. Yeah, there I did it. We actually train and do sports performance, sport-specific activities that allow you to be a better performance athlete in whatever it is that you choose to partake in. So, for this segment of the show, we're going to go over some power performance activities. We're going to go over some different core building strength exercises to allow you to become better, faster, and stronger. Now, it's no mystery that all good things in fitness start from the core. And I just want to revisit an old adage. The core is much more than just the stomach area here. The core is much more than just the cylinder area here. The core actually starts right about here at the neck and goes all the way down into the knees, as well as the chest, the upper and lower back, the glutes, and your hamstrings. Basically, the only extremities is your head, your arms, and below the knees. So when we say core, we mean exactly that, these core building muscle groups. I hear this a lot out of people, especially when they come into the TriJake Fitness studio. They'll say, well, I feel like I'm pretty athletic, however, I lack endurance. And one of the biggest mistakes that these people make is that they think that in order to gain endurance, they have to practice jogging or light running. And they have to do this for an extended length of distance. And it's not exactly true. Believe it or not, one of the best ways to improve your overall endurance is through power performance work. And in case you're wondering what power performance work is, it's things like medicine ball tosses, kettlebell swings. Most kettlebell and medicine ball activities are power performance, power sport-specific movements, as well as plyometric jumping, jumping rope, things of this nature. Power performance is pretty much defined by making your muscles do more activity than they have oxygen supplement to provide for that activity. Which is why a lot of times when you do squat jumps, you're not out of breath while you're doing the squat jumps, but your heart rate spikes and you're very out of breath about 8 or 10 seconds after you do those squat jumps. Now, speaking of squat jumps, that's going to be our first activity. I'm going to teach you right now how you can do the perfect squat jump. So this is a plyometric jump, this is a plyometric move, and just as similar as it is to an actual squat, your first move when you do a squat, or in this case a squat jump, is not down. That's not the first move. The first move is actually a hip hinge back. You'll feel the weight shift right back into the backs of your heels as soon as you do that. Now, don't overshift and stick your butt way out like this. That's not going to help us achieve what we're trying to get. But your first move is to hip hinge back, closing the hip angle. You feel the weight shift into your heels. You can see how my toes are actually almost coming off the ground a little bit. And you are going to jump down and you are going to load, arms back, chin up, chest out, and then you are going to fly up towards the sky. That would be a proper squat jump. Now, wherever you're at home, feel free to get up. If you're in your living room, great. We're going to do 10 squat jumps, and you're going to get an idea of what I mean with anaerobic plyometric jumping. Ready, set, here we go for 10. Down, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's pick it up, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Woo! Excellent. So you can see I'm not out of breath yet. I feel my heart start to pound a little bit. Here comes the sweat. And now I'm out of breath. Now, the science behind that is I just demanded much more out of my body than I had oxygen to provide for. So that is affecting my oxygen consumption, or my VO2 max. You want to know more about VO2 max, you can visit the website or you can schedule a session with me. We'll get into the science behind it. Excuse me just for a moment. So, when you demand more of your muscles than you have oxygen in your body for, it causes you to want to breathe in more air. Just for some more biology on the subject, what I'm trying to do is intake oxygen into my lungs. Blood is pumped back into the heart, and then into the lungs, where it isn't oxygenated by the air that we breathe in. That's why it's important to take big, long, deep breaths, especially while running. A lot of times, what people do is they will take short breaths, like when they like that, and that's not good. You want long, draw-in breath, smooth going out. I try to get between 4 and 5 run strides per breath of air I take in. Now you might be wondering to yourself, what does doing 3 sets of squat jumps have to do with me having greater endurance? Well, I'll tell you. The better you are at doing anaerobic or sport-specific power jumps like we just did, anaerobic being lack of oxygen, which is sort of what I just explained, the better you are at that, the higher your lactic threshold is. The higher your lactic threshold is, being as how many times your heart beats per minute, the longer you're going to be able to run. So when I'm doing a long race, I like to keep my heart rate right at about 140 beats per minute, below my lactic threshold. That's going to stop cramping. Again, I know I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you. Please schedule a session if you want to know more drills that's going to allow you to have greater understanding of what all this has to do with you being a better runner in long distance. So, we did the squat jump. Now I want to talk a little bit about core performance. As we mentioned before, one of my favorite exercises has to do with the quadriceps right through here. So I'm going to sit down for this next one. We're going to come at it from this angle. Now this is called an in and out. As I said before, the core starts here and goes all the way down your quadriceps to your knees. So for this particular exercise, if you're a beginner, start with your hands just behind your hips. Rock back onto your butt and keep your feet apart. Bring your knees towards your chest. Eyes forward, chin up, chest out. These are simple in and outs. Now you are going to feel this not only in your stomach area, but you're also going to feel it in your quadricep area or your thighs, okay? You should do about 20-25 of these 3 times over. Now if you want a greater challenge for this exercise, throw your hands up in the air, balance on your butt, keeping your feet apart, and continue the movement. Out, in, out, in. And notice how I'm extending my legs all the way out and in. Wonderful. So as I said, 3 sets of squat jumps, 3 sets of in and outs. You got yourself a good power performance exercise routine mixed in with a beautiful core performance exercise machine. Everything equates to you being a better endurance athlete. I think that's all the time we have today on the Tri-Jake Truth. For more information on what we talked about, and if you're really interested in getting up and getting out there and getting some real results, you're probably going to want to visit my website at trijake.com, or just give me a call. My number is 617-756-6866. Remember, it's all about you reconnecting with that spark. And the final message, that you don't stop running because you get old. You get old because you stop running. Thanks so much, team. I'm proud to be a part of this wonderful community.